Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Reading through the comment section, says Andy's the best because he just doesn't give a beep. That's the only way to go through life. Actually, there's some truth to that. Not that I don't care, but as you get older, things change as you get older. I'll give you some. I don't know if it's life lessons, but this is what's happened with me. When I was in my 20s, before that, let's just say high school, society made a big impression on me. I was very malleable. I would, my thoughts, everything was easily convinced. As I got older, let's say my early 20s and whatnot, I would do basically anything. If teacher said it, jump 3 feet, I jump 3 feet. If my parents said, this is what you need to look at, that's what I would look at. And as you went through college, I went through college. I got an engineering degree. It was pretty, I'd say it was pretty hard. I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't like impossible. I tried pretty hard. I got I don't know I think my GPA was like a 3.4 or something like that. I got a manufacturing engineering degree. So I thought I was somewhat interested in it. I would rip apart things, put it back together. I would do things that I would say I just wanted to do. I rebuilt the front shocks on my dirt bike. I redid my mountain bike. I'd rip things apart, put it back together. It was just natural. It's like, this stuff doesn't get done by itself. I'm going to do it. And then I figure it out with one drawing. I'm like 15, 16 years old. They show like a blown apart assembly. And I would take it apart and rebuild it off that one blown apart assembly. And it's just because I was interested in it. So I think my parents and everyone else thought, well, this guy's an engineer. He can rip this apart, put it back together, whatever. But really what I was interested in was the outcome, like to go ride the dirt bike. You can't do it with oil leaking everywhere out of the shock. So that was in my 20s. I was pretty impressionable. I'd do whatever. I'd go into work. I thought all these people were really smart. They could have master's degrees. They could have whatever they had. And I was, basically just listening to them. And then I started working on things. I started working with them, started working with a whole bunch of other people. And then I started figuring out, like, man, these guys don't know this very well. And their solutions aren't that great either. So if they're so smart, how come, some of this stuff isn't, they don't know it that well. So then I started gaining confidence. I started coming up with my own solutions, started to figure all this stuff out. And I'd say the critical turning point in at least every guy is 26 years old. 26 years old is where your testosterone peaks and it starts to go down. When that starts to go down, I would say you can't do the all-nighters, you can't recover as quickly. Things start to slow down a little bit. And then I would say another 3-4 years, you start to, societal's influences on you are less. They become less impactful to you. So what happens is, and this is all my opinion, guys. This isn't like anything scientific, and maybe it is. Society's here. It was up here, and this is like your genetic personality traits. And then over time, what happens is this starts to do this. And then all of a sudden, as you get really old, this punches way to the max, and your societal influences go through the floor. So what you're going to see is old people like wearing sweatpants with like their hair all messed up. They're like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get from A to B and survive. And then I'd say that starts to hit at like 30 years old. 30 years old, at least for most guys, you'll start to ask yourself, like, did I do that right? Did I take the right path? How did I go about? How did I get from here to there with all these influences impacting me? And then you start basically questioning a whole bunch of different things about life. And as you get older and older and older, past 30, I would say, your genetic traits start to maximize, whatever those traits are. It doesn't mean that you get worse, like it doesn't mean you become a bad person. It just means that you care less about stuff that you don't care about. And at some point, you're going to hit the wall where you stop caring. You stop giving a beep about all of the things that you don't care about. So then really you start thinking about, well, does this person bring value to my life? Do I like hanging out with them? Do we have interesting conversations? If the answers are no, you cut those people out. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying if they don't bring anything to the table, you don't hang out with them anymore. Especially when you have kids. If you have kids, then your time value goes like through the roof. So you're basically devoting a lot of time to them, and your own free time is like nothing. And you're like, if I'm going to spend my free time, it's going to be good stuff. It's not going to be doing things that I don't like. So you've got teeny amounts of free time, and all you're going to do is figure out how you want to spend that, what little time you have. And if you look at happiness over someone's life, people are the happiest when they're like in their early 20s, and then also after like 60 something years old. I think 69 or something like that. And that's like when your responsibilities are the lowest of probably your life. You have no responsibilities when you're in your early 20s if you don't have a kid. And then you have like no responsibilities when you're 69 because all the kids moved out and you're basically free again. And then happiness increases after 69, I think. And then you're really happy in your early 20s. Basically because you can do whatever you want. And everything at that point's been in growth mode. Getting smarter, learning more, you're getting bigger, stronger, faster, so on. It's pretty awesome being in your early 20s. And I was talking to people, and I was we asked the question, what age would you want to be? Just what age? Doesn't matter what age. Like, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Whatever age you want to be, what age would you choose? And I was kind of dumbfounded by the answers that a lot of people gave. My answer was like early 20s because everything is in front of you. It's like you can look up the mountain and think like, I can do anything because you're young. You can choose any, like, let's say you just graduated college or something, and you can choose any sector you want. Everything's open. It's like a free-for-all. You can do whatever the heck you want. You want to go to oil and gas? Go into oil and gas. You want to go into technology? Go into technology. You want to go into aerospace or healthcare or whatever? Pretty easy. You just go and do it. It's all in front of you. You've got your youth. You can still do stupid things. People aren't going to say anything. He's like, he's only 21, whatever. He just turned 21. He can just, first time drinking or whatever for some people. Obviously not a lot, but everything's in front of you. You're growing. You can literally stay up late, wake up early the next day, and it doesn't really impact you that much. You got testosterone flowing through your body like no other. You're probably in your best health that you'll ever be in your life. But people were giving answers like, maybe like 50 or 45. And I'm just thinking, like, why 45 or 50? I'm 40. And I think that I would still choose in my 20s. 20s was incredible. I can remember one day that I woke up. I was in college. It was my last year of college. I woke up and I was in California, and outside is like awesome every single day. I woke up at about 9:30, 10 a.m. and I got up. I looked at my alarm clock. It was right on the ledge. I was sleeping in my bed. I looked at the alarm clock and I said, I don't think I'll ever be able to wake up this late again. Like on a weekday. There's no way. I looked outside and I said, well, I don't think that wherever I live is going to be this nice. It's like 50 something degrees and 50, 60 something degrees. It's outside. I got the window open, slight breeze. The thing's amazing. It's sunny outside. I could go walk and get lunch or something like that outside. and it's basically paradise at that point. And I just thought, like, man, that day could be like the pinnacle because I have no responsibilities. I didn't work. I mean, I worked, but I didn't work like a full-time job. And school was pretty easy because it was my last year. I already got it all figured out. And I could do whatever I want. I'd go play softball in the afternoons. I played on a couple of teams throughout the week. I'd work out. I'd go hang with friends. Had a lot of fun. Your body can take whatever punishment you give it. And I thought it was a lot of fun. But as you get older and the responsibilities pile on, your testosterone declines at 26. That's when it starts. So things start to take longer to heal. You can't pull the all-nighters. You can't do all that stuff. Things change. Relationships change. You become more family-oriented. You focus inward versus outward. In terms of like relationships, a lot of people. I mean, you can still hang out with other people, but it's more kids-based than it is actual parent-based. So that changes. It changes you. It changes the relationships that you're in. It changes the relationship with your wife. It changes the relationship with everything. And I've played this life pretty well, I think, in terms of savings, in terms of figuring things out. But my recommendation, to get back to to people and the ages that they chose and the reasons why. So I chose when I had the best health and all the opportunities in front of me. That was the age that I chose. Other people chose like I'd say like 40 years old, 46, somewhere in the like 38, something like that, somewhere in those ages. And what they chose was they chose it because of where they were in their life at that time. I was thinking about the question like I could relive my 20s. I'm like, heck yeah, I'd choose that over my 30s. There's no way I'd choose my 30s. So my 30s were fine, but I wouldn't choose 38 over 28, and I wouldn't choose 38 over 21. And I wouldn't choose 28 over 21. And the biggest reasons that they had to give was money. And I guess I do a lot of stuff that doesn't require money. My happiness isn't derived from spending it or having it. And that's kind of weird. So one thing that I'm going to say is money is going to stay in the pockets of the people who don't need it. Like, I don't really need this stuff. I just save it. And I don't know. I don't find happiness in spending it. Now I'll spend it on some stuff, and there's some things that I enjoy doing that do cost some money, but in relationship to how much I make, I don't really spend very much. And I think I added it all up just off the top of my head. This isn't I didn't put it all down, but I've probably only spent $60,000, $70,000 in stuff that I wanted to do. Not food, not housing, not stuff like that. But probably only $60,000, $70,000 my entire life. I've probably spent more on other people than me. And I don't know. I'd rather be broke in 21 than rich in 55. You can't get that time back. And time, I think, is the most valuable thing. And someone who chooses to be 40 or 50 years old just because they have money, something went wrong, I think. Maybe not. Maybe. What do you guys think is the best age? Put it in the comment section. Love to hear your guys' opinion. Obviously, you can't turn the clock backwards. So people are probably going to choose an age that's closer to their current age than in the past. And really, all I'm doing is trying to figure out a way of what should my diet be to maximize my body, my genetic potential at later ages. I mean, that's really what I try to think about. And for me, it's vegetables, some meat, and a lot of beans. and it's green vegetables like bok choy, Chinese broccoli, Brussels sprouts, the green peppers, and all that stuff. So that's what I like. And if you're young and you're growing up, the things that I'll say is what you eat does impact you for the long term. So be careful what you eat. Be careful some of the things that you do. Don't do anything too stupid where you can hurt your legs for forever. And I haven't hurt anything. I'm good. But think about that stuff when you're young. Don't kill yourself. Don't do something too stupid when you were young to hurt yourself when you're older. Do something that you really like doing. Something that aligns with what I call as your highest value. Find something that you really like doing that you would do irrespective of pay. And what I like doing is I like being outside. I like taking apart things, figuring out how to make things more efficient. That's just something I like doing. It's like, how can we squeeze a little bit more power out of this? How can we get how can we get better handling out of this? How can I get a little bit more grip? What can we fit a wider wheel on this thing so we can put wide tires? But that's fun to do. And then I like driving it a ton. Like driving a car. It's just incredibly fun. But most other stuff, I'm just like, whatever. I do it, but it's not as fun. I like walking outside too. So I don't know. I just figured I saw that. Someone says, because I don't care. I think it was about gold and silver, technical analysis, crash coming. I do care about the people on this channel. I do care that you guys try to figure out how to invest better. I care about that stuff. I just like doing this though. I like investing. I like looking at value. I like trying to find things and be the oddball versus everyone else. And there is one thing I wanted to go over. I probably should have went over a little earlier, is inflation and deflation. Think of like 3 cups. Like you've got 3 cups, right? 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to put water in these cups. So you put water in 1, 2, 3. And let's say 3's got the most water, 2's got the medium, and 1's got like nothing in it. The water in the cup represents how much money is in the system. The overall economy is the size of all the cups added together. Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. The one with the most water in the cup is the one that has the least value. The money, the water, is in that cup. It's in that sector. And that water in the cup, it being in that sector, is its ratio. Its ratio is high. It's not as good a value to the other cups because all the water's in it. Now, if the cup is only so big and there's only so much water you can fit in it, and when you go to fill it and it's almost all the way full, you don't have much more water that you can fit in, the money supply, so to speak. Now, you can also take money, and let's say you've got an external watering jug or something like that. The external water jug is money coming into the system. Inflation, in what it does, is it raises prices, right? I mean, that's the symptom of it. The actual inflation is the water being put into the cups. If you raise the level of all the cups a little bit, how is that possible without inflation? It's not possible. You have to have inflation in order to raise the water in every single cup. So if you see prices go up in every single item, you have inflation, and inflation is more money in the system. Now, I hear people talk about deflation, like technology is this huge deflationary piece. It can't be. I mean, just think, if I have water in the cup, right, and you keep the same amount of water in the cup, technology makes these products that are cheaper. Where does that other money go? It just doesn't go poof. It doesn't just evaporate. Oh, look, I spent less on this, whatever it is, which no one does. Everyone spends more. But hypothetically speaking, technology is this huge deflationary thing that I've heard on YouTube. So this price goes down. and you still have the extra money. Well, what are you going to do with the money? It goes somewhere, right? It gets spent. It goes into savings and gets loaned out again. It goes into investments. Something becomes less affordable by me putting money somewhere, right? So how is technology causing deflation? That's my question, because I don't think it does. That money stays in the system. Now, in order to have deflation means that water has to come out of these 3 cups somewhere. Well, is technology taking water out of the cup? No. It's not taking it out of the cup. The water's still there. The price of that thing went down, but I can now buy something else. If I buy something else, that's demand for another product. That demand for the other product may or may not experience upward prices, because now there's more demand for it. I've never understood the entire debate of technology is causing deflation. Deflation is a monetary phenomena. It's money coming out of the system or collapsing. And that's why at the end of every real estate boom, we have that recession. It crashes and the money supply shrinks. That is deflationary. That's why prices go down. And the name of the game in deflation is how to protect wealth. And gold does a very good thing because everything else crashes way down. And gold may fall a little bit, but it still can buy more of something else. Its ratio goes up. And that's a good thing. And gold and physical metals is another diversifier. You're out of the system. It's hard to figure out that you even own it. I don't even know if they know how to figure out that you even own it, unless there's some trail to you. So that I like privacy. Now, I know the Bitcoin people and the cryptocurrency people, they want everything to be logged transactions. I see that as a huge problem. I don't see that as a benefit. So I don't like being logged. I don't want people seeing what I'm buying, what I'm doing. I like privacy. And privacy is there's going to be a huge premium that people don't realize, I think, on physical precious metals because of privacy. And when all these cryptocurrencies come about, and then they figure out that everything's being tracked and that they can be stopped, then the privacy premium may come back. Maybe. But I don't like being tracked. I'd rather have it. And if technology is so good, then why don't we increase the production of all these metals? Why are some of them going down? Like platinum. If technology is so good, why is the cost of everything going up? If technology is so deflationary. If technology is so great, why does it cost me more to buy a new car? If technology is so great, how come home prices are going up so much? Well, there's only a fixed amount of land, I guess, in good areas. If technology is so great, how come a computer isn't like $5 right now? I don't know. We still have inflation. It's still costing us more money. The standard of living, I don't think, is increasing for the majority of people, in the United States at least. The ratio of real estate to how much someone makes has gone up a ton versus the 1950s, 60s, 70s, versus today. We're going to have to leverage up more to buy a house versus them. We have to leverage up more to go to school, college, than they did. So things are getting less affordable. And if you kind of figure that out, I guess the best time to buy a house is the earliest time you can, because it seems to be getting less affordable as time goes on. And that was one thing I wish I did. I wish I bought a house earlier and rented it out with some friends. But I just kind of wanted to, someone wrote a comment that they like, me doing some of these ramblings. And this is me rambling on about a couple of things. Went over inflation, went over some things with life. But if you guys have any questions, put it in the comment section. Love to hear what your guys' opinions are. If you want my opinion on anything, just let me know. I can answer some of the questions. I know this guy's got, what's your best dividend stock for the next 5 to 7 months? I like the commodity sector. Rio Tinto, RIO, BHP, VALE, NILSY. Those are good ones. I own all those. Those are some good dividend ones. If you had 9 ounces of gold and 50 ounces of silver with $4,500 in debt, what would you do? I don't agree with all you or Buffett say. I judge and ask opinions. Okay? If I had 9 ounces of gold and 50 ounces of silver with $4,500 in debt, I would probably just pay the debt off. I mean, I don't have any debt. Well, outside of debt against an asset, I have a mortgage. Bitcoin has value because people believe it has value. It's like Beanie Babies. It has scarcity. Digibyte is pretty awesome as currency and a platform from what I've seen. Well, technically everything has scarcity. Absolutely everything. And there's a whole bunch of things that are pretty scarce that are absolutely worthless. So I don't think it's because of scarcity. I think it's because maybe what Bitcoin represents, which is you can't mess with the currency, so to speak, if it is a currency. I mean, it's just made up by human beings, right? It's like breaking the law. All these things are just made up by human beings. And humans, it's the way that we interact with each other. But I mean, think of it from a big picture thing. If you think human beings are essentially non-value, you've got a billion plus, or sorry, you've got 7 billion, 8 billion, however many people are in the world. Each life would be, an infinitesimally small value or whatever, and we only give value to each other and the relationships you have and whatnot. But it's all a self-perceived value, and we think very highly of ourselves. It's all self-perceived, but there's a whole bunch of things that have scarcity that are worth nothing. I'm sure 1950 pencils, they're pretty scarce, I'm sure, but nobody's going to pay anything for them. They're probably more scarce than even Bitcoins. We're getting an ascending wedge on Bitcoin. It will break before or around 51,000. So typically an ascending wedge is a bearish formation, and you're saying it's going to break to the upside. It's already breaking to the downside, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, technical analysis is not 100% accurate. I'm not claiming it to be 100% accurate. I just say, look, here's the pattern. This is what I see, and then I share it. I don't make those predictions. I'm just saying this could go lower, or this is a good spot to buy it. Doesn't mean it will turn out the outcome that you want. It could go higher. It could go lower. In the short term, the probabilities are a lot lower than, say, a long-term chart pattern that's breaking some massive pattern that just broke. So how does one travel with gold and silver? You put it in your pocket. That's how I would do it. This is what I like about fiat. Credit cards work everywhere. Maybe there will be a system where a person can trade gold and silver for credit and switch back upon arrival somehow. Well, I can tell you this. If I wanted to carry $10,000 of something, gold, you could carry it in your pocket very easily. I couldn't carry $10,000 of fiat. So gold is actually an easier way to conduct a transaction than fiat currency. A credit card, the problem with credit cards is they charge a fee. It's like a 3% fee. And then you may get cash back, but that's fine. And then there's a fee to transact in a lot of these cryptocurrencies. So if $10,000 of gold is 5 ounces roughly, right? A little bit more than 5 ounces, 6 ounces. 6 ounces of gold is literally, it's like this much. I could carry that without even knowing I had it, really. It's just feels kind of like a heavy set of keys, maybe. And I mean, you could do a transaction and have zero costs with it, and it'd be completely private out of the system, and no one would even know that you had it. I can carry $1 million worth of a 500 ounce monster box of gold. That's about $1 million. It's a little bit less than $1 million, and I could, move that around pretty easily. What are the fees of transacting any of this with a credit card or even crypto? And how would you transact something that's completely private out of the system? That's my question, I guess, for you guys. Excellent analysis. This volatility is inherent in commodities. Very much true there. Just got to be in the game. I think it would be worthwhile to look into copper plays. I was in Ivanhoe, but got out after I felt was a top. If the values are cheap, I don't get out. I just hold on to it. Why would I get out of something that's cheap? That's where my head gets wrapped around. And guys, honestly, I haven't even been looking at my account during the days. I just leave it. And I'm building cash right now. And if I see a better buying point, which I might at any point, I'll deploy a little bit more money and I'll just keep buying in. That's the strategy I have. Hello, should I wait a few more days to buy silver? Thanks. That's up to you. I would wait because it looked like it broke out of its big pattern to the downside. And I like to buy into strength, so I would probably just wait. We could see it go down a little bit more. Now here's something, Andy 100 Bagger. Bitcoin is about halfway through its bull run, which will peak out May 2022 or 9 months from now. Crypto Trading KS on YouTube. He is a doctor in mathematics. Well worth your time to watch a few of his videos. He's not a Bitcoin nutbag. He thinks it is the best market to trade. I also am not a Bitcoin nutbag. I could care less about Bitcoin. I have financial goals to achieve. Then we'll switch into portfolios similar to yours. I'm not saying my portfolio is the best, guys. I'm not claiming any of this stuff. But just because he has a doctor in mathematics doesn't mean he knows where the market's going to go. And doesn't mean that I would necessarily trust him. But if he has a compelling argument and you believe in his argument, then yeah, that's up to you. I mean, go for it. I don't really listen to anybody. I went into a challenge, this was a long time ago, with someone who had 2 PhDs in finance. He chose the value. I was like 21 years old. He chose the value pick. I chose a growth stock. And it just so happened, let me think, that was back in 2005. I chose Beidou. And he chose a oil drilling company. I think it was Pioneer Drilling. And I whooped him. I whooped him so bad. And he had 2 PhDs in finance versus me. A guy who was still in college getting an engineering degree. So here's another thing. Whatever you see growing in the world, whatever you see growing, just invest in it. And then hold on to it. Don't sell it. Chipotle, I should have held on to more of my shares back in the day. When I was right when they went public, it was like $50. I think it was like $54 is when I got in. I should have just held on the whole time. Google was there; that was getting pretty big back in the early to mid 2000s. There's a bunch of companies that all I had to do was just buy and hold on. Never sell it. If you saw something growing around you, you buy it and hold on. Would have been better off with some of this stuff. And you don't need to know technical analysis. You don't need to know anything. You just go out there and buy it and just hold on. Watching all of Andy and Rick Rule's videos really prepared me for the volatility in these sectors. It is very volatile. I don't take it personally, and I keep holding. And if things crashed insanely, I've got cash ready. I'm like Andy, waiting and waiting. And yeah, I wait too. That's all I do. I do think we're going to do very well at some point. I don't know what that point is, but I think it's going to come very soon. The last Macro Voices was very interesting, spoke on pullback and explained why. So be careful on what you guys listen to in terms of why. A lot of these people, they just make things up, and even the news, they'll make something up and they don't really know why. Then no one can prove it. No one can prove exactly why something goes up and down. I've heard so many things they were talking about this one angle, this news anchor or whatever it was, and then they went out and then they asked like, why did you sell? And he made some reason, but had nothing to do with the reason that the news made up. And then they asked another person, completely different. All it is a bunch of people deciding what's best for them, and they all have different reasons of why they're selling and buying. Every single one. The news and everything else on the why, it's probably just made up. That's my opinion. I don't think they know why. Unless it's like a total news-based thing, where something comes out and then it moves the market directly after, like a massive move. Then you could probably figure that out. But most of the day-to-day movements, they just make stuff up. They're, whatever. This is, hi, Andy. I was impatient, caught the falling knife, buying DOYU. I truly believe Chinese tech is undervalued for the companies that are not directly impacted by the government. In other words, some companies are the babies that are getting tossed out with the bathwater. Can you please help with reading on HUYA, the streaming company's technicals, current valuations less than half their annual revenue? So one thing is, value doesn't move companies. Money flows do. And then what you're finding out is that money flows is what's moving things around. And when things start to fall down, they start to cascade lower. What you need to look at is you need to look for a base. So the thing cascades lower. You want to find a base where it basically bases out, and then you want to buy it right when it starts to come up. Then you're in the game. Like, that is like the whole thing of investing. If you want to use technical analysis to invest, wait for it to come down, wait for it to base some. It's going to do some volatile stuff. It's going to be all over the place. And then you buy into strength as it pops higher. Make sure your valuations are good. If your valuations are good and they're coming down and they're bottoming, and you see that thing pop higher, it's go time. And you got to be patient. You got to be really, really, really patient. Don't buy something that's been high and it's just starting to come down, because that has a lot of momentum and it needs to get worked off, and you're going to have to live through this very long accumulation phase at the bottom. So what I would do is try to find some stuff that's down, that's coming up, and buy that stuff, aka commodities. Uranium's experiencing that right now. Platinum's coming back down, but it's very low. It's already done its basing. It popped out of its pattern and it's just back testing. Those are the ones that get me super excited, because the move is close. I can't tell you how close, though. I don't know the timing. The value's there, the chart pattern's there, and the back test is in process. Or the retest, back test. That's where I'm like, it's game time. It's go. It is go time. So that's where I get really, it says running, that's where I get really excited. Running to safety, where is safety? Okay. Castorated precious metals bull. Actually, precious metals are very good. You're in safety. Carefully listening to everything you say, Andy. It just takes time to rewire the brain. It takes a long time. And I'm not saying that mine's fully rewired either. There's always things that you can improve upon. Again, be careful in using technical analysis. Be careful in using these things. Look at the big picture view. Look at things that are coming down and about to come back up. And then just hold on with all your might. That's what I'm doing. And I would have made more money doing this approach and identifying, somewhere close to rotate money. And when the water in the cup starts being poured to the other cup, that water going into that sector is what's going to make us money. So you have to basically buy before everyone else has, their money in it, and it's lonely there. It's lonely, and you're gonna doubt yourself. You're gonna ask questions to other people, and they're gonna tell you that you're crazy. So, what I would recommend doing is learning the stuff inside and out, because you're gonna be going against everyone and their opinions. You're gonna be Han Solo out there, and you're gonna be at this party dancing by yourself, and it does get lonely, and you're gonna doubt yourself sometimes. But when everybody else shows up and your stock goes way up because you started the party, that's when it's fun, because you see massive gains, massive. This isn't just a little bit. And if you put a good amount in there, you can see some life-changing rewards, but it takes time and it takes patience, and you're going to earn it. You're going to earn, going up and down. Got my hands on some physical platinum today. Pretty exciting. The real ones here are in the long term. He's talking about people on the channel, subscribers. Physical platinum's amazing. Once you get it in your hands, you're just going to keep buying it. It's so rare. And when you figure out how rare this stuff is, you start to buy some of it and you just kind of hold on. I'm not saying you have to buy all your money in it, but, get some money spread out. It's pretty good. Hedera Hashgraph is the one that I really like. It is not decentralized. It is a centralized system, but I think they can run databases off of it, and I think it's going to be very popular amongst large companies. So Homer's asking about some stuff that I added to the portfolio a while back. Unfortunately, I sold them in a panic. That's okay. You're human. They have taken a short-term beating, but I would love to buy them again and hold them on this time if you think they might be, some good value in them. So my favorite is the kind of the more leveraged exploration companies, the small ones that can grow production still. Those are the ones that I kind of like. And I do like some of those ones that you've got up there. Comstock and NOG, Northern Oil and Gas, I think, North Oil and Gas. Yeah, those are good. And you could just put a little bit of money and ride them. That's all I do. Here, Handy, you mentioned solar. Do you mean you think solar will outperform other renewables, wind, biomass, etc.? I do. I think solar is probably the one that's going to grow the most. They were talking about how big solar is going to get. The thing with solar, though, solar is incredibly volatile. I'm talking about incredibly volatile. So if you are going to go and you want to go into solar, you better have the cojones to hold on. And I have a little bit of money in there. I don't have a lot. And while I do have some in TAN, but the individual companies, they go all over the place. With volatility can come big rewards, but it can also mean big losses. So with that volatility and the ability to, these solar companies don't make a lot of money. So there is risk there. There is risk, but I do think solar companies they could be a good bet. And I think a lot of money is going to get thrown at them with these stimulus packages. So I think it's going to be a solar play versus, I don't think wind's going to be as good, or biomass. But that's, again, I'm not an expert in this field. But I do know that utility companies are trying to put in a lot more renewables, and I think especially solar. Sugar as an investment's a good one. I like it. What are platinum and palladium conversion ratio suggestions? Also, do you convert to silver or gold, or better yet, how do you know which one? I just go off of the ratio versus history. Whatever's cheaper is the one that I buy. Gold is a monetary metal. Gold you can kind of view as a little bit different than everything else. Gold's probably the best long-term buy it and hold it type of precious metal. If you're going to buy one metal, I would buy gold, because it does very well over long periods of time. If you're playing the ratio game, then you just buy whatever's the cheapest ratio at the time, and then hold that until that ratio changes. Gold seems to go up in paper dollars and really sets the monetary price. This one, yeah, okay, stay diversified, got it. So I've gone through most of these questions. Hopefully you guys like this clip. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.